Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Versus. And again, like we've said in the intro, the Versus, what is it? Well, it's a showdown between individuals, movies, cartoon characters, you name it. We want to pit them against each other. And it's not necessarily just fist fights. We're changing up, from yesterday's episode. We said it was just strictly fighting physical in the physical form. But no, we want to change it to be just a versus in multiple facets and multiple realms. So today's topics, we have a few things. We're going to be saying who would you rather be friends with more, Gaston or Jafar? So those are both two Disney characters. Then who is most impactful on society, in our opinions? Walt Disney, Steve Jobs. And then who is the better band, the boy bands? Backstreet Boys or NSYNC? And the victors are going to be declared by the hosts here, myself, Trey, my sister, Bibi, and her husband, Jeff. And we're going to just express our opinions, see who comes out the victor. But the best thing is we would like you guys to play along, whether you're at work or in your car. Just think about what you would pick. And although we we're on YouTube obviously with this channel here, so leave a like or a comment. But we're also on Spotify, so you can listen there. We have multiple different avenues on which you can listen to us. So we're going to go ahead and kick off the show. And the first one we're going to start off with is, like I mentioned, is who would you rather be friends with? Would you rather be? And these are two villains from Disney: Gaston or Jafar. So, B, if you want to go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So just blind reaction here. I'm going to go with Gaston. And the reason for that is I think Jafar is seriously evil. Like I think he's like maniacal, whereas I think Gaston is just kind of a douchebag. I think he's kind of a guy who is super cocky, but I don't think he's evil. I just think he's like a narcissist. So I think I would prefer to be friends with that as opposed to Jafar, who I think would legitimately kill me.
Hmm.
Jeff.
My
Yeah,
my
that's it.
gut
Jeff,
said
go ahead.
go with Gaston. He for the same reasons. He wasn't inherently evil. But now Jafar's a genie. And genies can't kill. And so you get rid of that in itself. And you have his
Mm-hmm.
lamp. Once you've got his lamp, he can't kill you anyway. He is forbidden to do it. That's part of the genie code. So you now have a genie at your disposal, not evil supervillain. Sure, he's an evil genie, but he's still going to grant you wishes and can't kill you. So really, it's just magical powers, and you got time to sway him. So while you got to do all of Gaston's bidding, because he's not going to be okay with you as an equal, you got to be his henchman if you're going to be his friend. And let's just be honest, he's going to drink and eat way more dozen eggs than I am. I can't keep up with that. And so I would rather be friends with the guy that's a genie that could grant me at least three wishes. Maybe I get some extra if I get on his good side and offer some quid pro quo, but he also can't kill me just based on genie rules.
You actually changed my opinion, Jeff, because I was full fledged gonna say Gaston like 100% because I agree with B. He's not a bad guy. He's just arrogant, and plus he likes to work out, which I like to work out too. He's not a wimp. He's brave. Like from his view, he was killing a werewolf. It's not like he saw it as like some nice dude. He saw it as like this werewolf dude. So in a lot of ways, I think he was a hero because from a lot of people's perspective, it's this werewolf dude. So he's brave. A human going up against a werewolf. That's pretty good. But I, I didn't think about the fact that Jafar was a genie.
I forgot
Because
about
if
that
he's a
too.
genie, yeah, that I have to say that because hey, you're right. He has to grant my wishes. So I get the wishes, and then I just don't do the third wish, and then he still can't kill me.
I have a
And
I have an argument for that. Or do you want Jafar to be
uh,
your friend or you want Jafar to be your genie?
I watched Aladdin. I want him as both.
Okay, okay.
Robin Williams was both friend and genie.
Yeah, but this is Jafar.
Yeah, all you gotta do is give him a few thousand years, your besties.
yeah, all right. All right. Well, if we're just talking, if I just wanted to use Jafar, yeah, I would. I guess as a friend. All right. If we're just talking just pure friendship, then I'm going with Gaston because he I think we could fix the arrogant part. At least he's a hard worker. He's a hunter. He gets things done. He's not a wimp.
He's strong
I
and
What
Yeah,
if your
he's
first
strong.
wish is, I wish you'd be my friend? Wish one,
No,
like, I
because I
wish you'd
don't
be
think he
my
can do that.
ideal
No,
friend.
no, 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 no. Because remember, Genie says like you can't make anybody fall in love with you. So I'm assuming it's the same thing here, where he
You're
can't just
just
make
changing his
friends.
personality. I think that's well
Yeah.
within. You're not asking him to fall in love. It's just, I want you to be
Uh,
nice to me. Wish one.
mm,
I also I
eh,
also like that Gaston is musical. He has a great voice.
yeah. No, but Jafar sings
Jafar
too.
sings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he does. Not good
Yeah.
though.
All right. If we're talking pure friendship, I'm going with Gaston. Even if you, because then you're not really. If you're wishing for Jafar to be different and be nice, you're not really getting Jafar now. Now you're just getting like some fraudulent thing. I want the
With
real
magical
Gaston and the
powers.
real.
Fake Jafar.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. So we have. I'm going with Gaston. BB going with Gaston, and Jeff is going with Jafar. So who would you guys pick? Think about it. Come up with your own arguments and post in the comments if you can. All right, moving on. All right. So the second question here in our little versus battle is: who do you think was more impactful on society, Walt Disney or Steve Jobs? BB, if you want to go ahead.
This is such a hard one, but
Yeah, it's tough.
yeah, it's really hard. I guess I'm gonna go with Steve Jobs because, and this might sound like kind of a surface level answer, but I feel like more people have iPhones than people that have actually gone to Disney. And I guess I'm not exactly thinking about all the people who've seen Disney movies or dressed up as a Disney character for Halloween even. So this is just a really, really tough one for me. I'm gonna hold my thought. I'm not sure what I'm gonna pick yet.
Oh no, no, it's your turn. You're picking. Go ahead,
Well,
pick. You can change, but
as
pick.
of right now, I think I'm gonna go with Steve Jobs.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah,
think
this is
it's
tough.
very
This is
very
tough.
close, but I think I'm gonna go with Steve Jobs just because I feel like the innovation and the technology is more important for the entire globe than like a cartoon for like little kids.
Okay, no, that's good.
Okay.
Ah, I'm taking Disney. If I'm doing it, it's closer than I thought it would be. But I think Steve Jobs really just innovated mostly already usable items. So he made them go from nerdy to cool. So he took things that people were using and had, but you had to be tech savvy to even figure it out, and made it for the common man. I think there was way more people that are raised on Disney movies. Growing up as a child born in the 80s, I saw all of the Disney movies. It was one of those things that every time one come out, you're going to the theater. It's an excursion, it's an event. You looked forward to it all. The Disney Channel was a thing. I think it's the first TV channel based off of a movie. I think it's what started most of these things. And he's continued to be innovative. He had the theme park, he has theme worlds. So he's done a lot of the innovation, but it was done back when this wasn't even thought about. And so because it was brand new and he's developing something new and having ideas that spanned the globe and age gaps. As my parents enjoyed Disney movies. As an 8-year-old, you could enjoy Disney movies. As a grandpa, you could enjoy Disney movies. And so not only did he hit number of people in places, he hit all age groups for entertainment. And so for that reason, I would go with Disney.
No, I agree. B, this is tough. I was thinking about it, and I agree with Jeff. I have a lot. I think it's Disney, and one big thing is I don't get me wrong. Steve Jobs, whether you like the businessman or not, he innovated a lot. He the iPod. Just the iPhone. It changed the way we communicate. It changed the way we listen to music. But with the phone, and you have on your phone, we're all connected. You have iTunes and all this stuff, and FaceTime, which it all creates a way for us to connect better. But those are a way to capture memories. But Disney figured out a way to create memories, and that sticks with you longer than a material item is a memory. And so Disney innovated in parks, which is a destination, and not only that is when with cameras like on an iPhone and stuff, and you're filming stuff, the ability to capture creativity. But Disney inspired people to be creative and to have those creative. And I'm not saying Steve Jobs didn't do it, but I think to a larger scale, Walt Disney did that. And not only that, he was a Renaissance man. Besides John Williams, Walt Disney has the most Academy Awards because of his animation. And he changed the game, as far as entertainment, not just in movies, not just in TV, but in experiences. So that's my thing. Did you want
I
to change yours, B, or are you still good?
No, I'm still gonna stick with Steve Jobs. I feel like for
Yeah.
Disney, or at least for me, when I'm in the Disney world, it's because I'm shutting my brain off. Whereas with Apple, I'm
Hmm.
like, I want to turn my brain on to all these ideas and all these things that are out there
Hmm.
and connecting with others and communicating and creation, as opposed to, oh, let me mindlessly turn on Moana or whatever it is. And both are great. That's the thing, is like so many people love both. But when we're talking about how Disney spans across the lifespan, I feel like iPhones do that too, because little kids love technology. Like they love their little iPads that sit in front of them, or their mom's iPhone that they have games or whatever it is. So I feel like that could be an argument for either person. So I'm going to stick with Steve Jobs.
All right. Well, we just did the Walt Disney and Steve Jobs. We're going to move on to the best boy band. And really, what we're focusing on is the best boy band of the 90s. So we're looking at who was the better boy band.
2000s.
Ins- oh, sorry. It was 2000? Oh, it was part of 90s too.
Yep.
Whatever. 90s, 2000s. Um, no, because they had an album. Well, Backstreet Boys had an album before Millennium, and that was the Millennium album.
Okay, fine. Like the late 90s, early
Yeah, late
2000s.
90s. So 90s, 2000 boy bands. So NSYNC, which is very popular, and Backstreet Boys, which is also very popular. So, all right, B, you go ahead and start off.
Okay. This one's a tough one. Again, sorry, I know it's like really hard to make decisions with these tonight. But I personally have to go with Backstreet Boys. I was a Backstreet Boys fan all through my childhood, so I feel like I would be a little bit of a traitor if I picked NSYNC. So that is really my only reason that I'm going with Backstreet Boys. But if I had to give like a legitimate reason, is that I believe Backstreet Boys sold more albums than NSYNC. And what I am aware of is that with NSYNC, a lot of people, of course, love them, but from NSYNC came Justin Timberlake, who's probably one of the biggest pop stars of all time. So I understand people that do pick NSYNC, but just for my own sake, I got to go with Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Jeff?
To me, to me, this one comes down to whether you would take into account, just as BB said, the later careers. Because as they stand individually, I think NSYNC was more talented than Backstreet Boys. But as a group, the Backstreet Boys were more talented together. They harmonized better. I think that's why they sold more albums. Their songs were probably catchier. But I think the individual talent at the end of the day outweighs the group talent. And so I think you've got to take into account that one of the NSYNC members got to go to space. It's one of those random things that you can't afford to do that if you're not insanely popular. You don't get those kind of opportunities.
Which one
And
went to space?
Bass,
Lance.
Oh,
we haven't even gotten to Justin, and he's way more popular. He would be the Jordan of boy bands. And so when you have Michael Jordan on your boy band, I think it's impossible to pick against you. So I'm going with Timberlake and NSYNC on this one.
Michael Jordan of boy bands.
All right. Well, Jeff, this is the first time you and I are disagreeing, really. I'm going to go with Backstreet Boys, and I guess I have the same bias with BB. BB and I were like best friends growing up, so we did everything together. So we listened to Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys. And I appreciated Sync. I think they had great things, and I agree with you, Jeff. Where individually, I think they have more power, but we're talking about better boy band of the time, and I think Backstreet Boys were first too. So they started it. Well, I mean, I guess you go all the way back to what was the one with
Boys. Oh,
no, no,
new
no, the
kids
guy
on the block.
yeah, new okay, so New Kids on Block really started it, but really got popular with Backstreet Boys,
Jackson 5.
and then well that too, that's not really a boy band, but
That's true.
although they were great, but um yeah,
You're
I
going
just think that they started it, and then NSYNC kind of obviously like they kind of just jumped on this bandwagon, saw it, and they refined the product, and that's how Justin was able to become more popular and everything. But then you got to look at we got what was it, AJ? You got the real big tough guy. AJ was a tough dude, so they didn't have that on NSYNC, or yeah, exactly, yeah, they didn't have that on NSYNC, and Brian just seemed more likable. And then what was it, Kevin? Kevin had that stoic demeanor. I don't think they
He
had
was a
any
man.
of
He
that.
was like a 35-year-old man at that point.
Yeah, that's true too. And then they had Nick Carter. So overall, I just think I like the personalities better coming out of. Although I guess what was it, Joey Fatone on NSYNC? He
Mhm.
seemed like pretty. He was the only other one besides Justin Timberlake that kind of stands out to me as somebody, that's had a pretty good personality. So, but overall, I guess it's just my young childhood bias. I'm gonna go with Backstreet Boys. So, not
I
saying I'm
my
right.
my disclaimer on that is that I don't support Nick Carter. He's a hot mess. But I still
Yeah,
pick
and we're
Backstreet
not
Boys.
saying that. We're just talking about strictly better band in the '90s. We're separating the art from the artist of their background. We're just talking about purely the art. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So we just have to do that. But all right, well, we'll end it there. So tonight, we had the Who Would You Rather Be Friends With? Gaston, Jafar. We had the most impactful, Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, and then the Better Boy Band, Backstreet Boys are in sync. So hopefully you guys are able to play along. We appreciate you listening, and if there's some minor technical difficulties, we apologize. We're trying to work it, but probably won't be there next time. But again, we appreciate you taking the time, and leave a like and leave a comment in the comment section. Give us some suggestions, some suggestions that you may have for us, and we can do it. And we'll put it up in another episode. So again, you have a great time or a great day, and thank you very much for listening in.